Okay, guys, we're going to do a review over fractions and over the stuff we've been covering the last couple days. So we did a review over what an improper fraction was, and we talked about that when you have an improper fraction, that the bigger number is on the top and the smaller number is in the bottom. So we're going to focus on that as we go through to solve this. So on this problem, remember, we want to get one fraction and we want the bigger number to be up here. So if I go through and do this, remember, this is where we added the multiplication sign and we put an add sign up here. So we start with these two first. So 3 times 9 is 27. And then we're going to add this number right here. So when I add 7 to that, I end up with 34. And on the bottom, the 9 comes over. Now, I do want to be careful that I check to see if I can reduce this. Okay, let me see if I can manage to do this so you can see my calculator. Okay, here's my calculator. So I'm going to hit the fraction button, and then I'm going to do 34 on the top, and I'm going to do 9 on the bottom, and I'm going to hit enter. Now you can see it doesn't change at all. So because it doesn't change, you know it can't reduce. So that means that this answer is going to be my final answer. Now remember, you've got to check to make sure it's going to reduce every single time. Okay, on the second one, this is kind of the reverse. They want me to be able to change it to a mixed number, and I can already tell by the way that it's written right here that the top number is bigger than the bottom, so it's already improper. So to be able to finish this one, I'm going to have to divide it out. Now remember, this is going to be your inside number, and that's going to be your outside number. So 52 goes in the inside, and 3 goes in the outside. So if I were to set this up, if I took 52 and divided it by 3, I would get a decimal. Now I'm going to show you my calculator again. If you can see this, the whole number part in front is 17. And then do you see all the 3's at the end? So I'm only worried about what happens before the decimal. So just the 17. So that means on this one, I know that it goes in 17 times. So if I take 17 times 3, that number's going to go here. That's going to be 51. And if I subtract, I'm going to have 1 left. Now to solve this, we're going to use a little bit of that check mark method. So like that. So it's going to be 17 and 1/3. Okay. Now you may want to check this at the beginning just to see if it can reduce or not. That would make your number smaller from the very beginning, if that's possible. Okay, now the other ones that we're going to look at have to do with multiplying. Now remember, they both have to be a fraction, and we can see both of these are. And so when we did that, we talked about kind of going across. So that means in the top it's going to be 3 times 5. And on the bottom it's going to be 25 times 11. That has to be my first piece. Now on the top, 3 times 5 is going to be 15. And on the bottom, if I do 25 times 11, it's 275. Okay, that's my first part. Then I need to take this part in there and see if it'll reduce or not. So I'm going to try to put my calculator up here again. So I'm going to make my fraction. And when I do my fraction, I'm going to take 15 and put it over 275. And you'll see on this one it reduces down to 3/55. So back here, I know it reduces to 3 over 55. Now, I can tell in this one the top number is smaller, so it's a proper fraction already. So there's no mixed number that you need to make. That's going to be your final answer. Okay, one more multiply. Now, on this problem, they are not already in proper form. So I'm going to have to change this into an improper fraction because I want just a fraction there. So I'm going to start out just like I did before. I'm going to put my multiplication sign here and my add here. So on this, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So it's 14 over 3. Now to multiply, I'm going to get those two pieces together. So that means I'm going to have to take 14 and 3 on the top and 3 and 7 on the bottom. So if I did the top, 4 times 3 is 42, and 3 times 7 is 21. So again, we're going to put this in our calculator and see if we can reduce. Okay, so if I get my calculator out, 42 over 21, that ends up just being 2, so it's going to be a whole number answer. So that means this one is going to reduce down to 2, and that's your final answer. Okay, go over your stuff from both groups from today and yesterday, and that'll be your warm-up for tomorrow.